Restoration and reinvention can look similar from a distance because both involve change, but they begin from very different places. Reinvention often says, the old me is unacceptable, so I need to become someone else. Restoration says, something valuable has been wounded, buried, distorted, or interrupted, and it can be recovered. The R3 framework begins with restoration because lasting transformation does not require the destruction of identity. It requires truth, healing, alignment, and the recovery of what was always meant to become whole. Reinvention often begins with rejection. Rejection of the past. Rejection of weakness. Rejection of painful memories. Sometimes even rejection of the person we were while surviving. A new image, title, routine, location, or identity can feel easier than facing what still needs to be healed. And change on the outside may be real, but if the wound, belief, or pattern underneath remains untouched, the new version of life may still be carrying the old fracture. Restoration begins by asking what was lost, silenced, interrupted, or pushed out of alignment. It may mean recovering trust in your own voice, reconnecting with dignity, rebuilding emotional stability, renewing faith, remembering the values that survival pushed into the background. Restoration does not romanticize the past. It identifies what was true and worthy before pain distorted the way it was expressed. And restoration does not mean returning to who you were before everything happened. You are not required to become naive again. You do not have to ignore what you learned or erase the wisdom that came through difficulty. The goal is to release the wound from controlling the future while keeping the discernment, boundaries, strength, and maturity you gained along the way. Keep the wisdom, release the wound. Once identity begins to recover, reform becomes necessary. Restored truth needs the support of changed habits, stronger boundaries, healthier relationships, responsible choices, and systems that no longer reproduce the same damage. This is where restoration becomes visible in daily life. You are not performing a new identity. Your life is being brought into alignment with what has been restored. Then redemption carries that restoration and reform into purpose. The past is no longer only something to escape or hide. Its lessons can become wisdom, compassion, service, leadership, testimony, and legacy. Redemption does not call the harm good. It simply refuses to let harm have the final word. What once fragmented a life can become part of how that life serves, protects, teaches, and rebuilds. Restoration reminds us that growth does not always begin from nothing. You may already carry truth, gifts, faith, courage, experience, and wisdom that became difficult to access while you were surviving. The work is not always to invent a better person. Sometimes the work is to recover the person who has been there, reform what no longer supports that identity, and redeem the story into purposeful living. Subscribe to Grace Legacy Academy and continue through the R3 Framework series. In the next video, we will explore how personal restoration changes the systems people build, lead, and live inside.